YouTube decided to be difficult today in their live stream nonsense. So, um, pardon me, we'll have to do the usual let me get set up as an unprepared broadcaster type thing I have to do. Um, that's one of the things about the YouTube app versus the StreamYard app is the StreamYard app has like a backstage area. Look at me looking at the wrong camera. Hi, camera. Sorry. It has like a backstage area, and that allows you to kind of get your crap together before you get going, you know? So, this one, it's kind of like press the button, go live, and if something's wrong, it pops up and lets you know last second, and then you have to troubleshoot. And when you troubleshoot, then you go live. So it's like it's a lot of. I like the clean, streamlined, just press the button and go aspect of this without having to jump through StreamYard's hoops. But at the same time, it's a glitchy system, yo. It's a glitchy system. Let me get this started so I can see what's going on with the chat because it's important I get to talk to y'all. Why are you being difficult? Sorry about that. Oh, someone popped in and hit the like button. Kind soul. There's the stream I'm looking for. Let's see. Can I see the chat? Hey, it's Pat Master. There he is. That's my guy. Are you doing okay, buddy? I know you weren't feeling well earlier. I hope you're like resting and chilling while you're hanging out, man. Put your feet up, you know. First thing they're gonna do in any hospital is make you just go lay down. So you can do that for free, but you know, make sure you get whatever medicines and stuff you need. Oh, Anthony Chabot's here. He's watching Scream right now. That boy. Well, that boy, Nate. You're a damn trooper. You know, you're smart. You know if you gotta go if you gotta go to the hospital, it's what you gotta do. But I also like the thought of you just relaxing, trying to center oneself. That doesn't really help sickness, but it also helps being in a right mental state helps their body, you know. Anthony's got a rap song. Congratulations, Anthony. What's the rap song about? I should know this as a fan of your channel. I should have caught it by now, but I've kind of been busy with stuff, so I'm sorry, man. That boy, Nate. That's my guy. Let me get you guys a little bit prettier so I can. As I was explaining, the YouTube app itself is a bit glitchy and weird. So May's in his house, yeah. Anthony's rap is about wrestling. So if those of you who are into wrestling, make sure that you go check out Anthony Chabot's channel. My man's cool. He's world's greatest YouTuber. He's on the road to 1K. So make sure you check out Anthony. Show him some love. Let him know the Night Owl sent you. Other than that, yeah, Mayanne's in the house. Mayanne, I love when she comes on. She's up with the baby in the middle of the night. She's a night owl, so she's a rider on my streams. Anyways, like I was saying, I just trying to get things situated here, and I'm getting ready to have kind of a late night watching of the classic Silence of the Lambs. I'm assuming everybody's seen it. It's currently on Max. I've been having real issues with picking out a movie and saying, okay, I'll do that on this date because that'll be a real clever, perfect date to do it or whatever. And then it ends up, it's gone. So I can't play this game anymore. So I've been meaning to do Silence of the Lambs on the build up to Halloween. So it's still available on Max. Let's pounce on it, baby. I do need to adjust the lighting. I'm a little off kilter here, weirdly. But as soon as we do that, is the audio and everything okay, you guys? But the stream the other night with from Dusk Till Dawn was super janky. I saw it giving me issues and I tried to correct it, and then by the time I did, it was just and it never quite got right, and it was always the audio was fine, but the rest was real webcammy. So you know, I like for you guys to have at least better quality than what that one was. So I might have to do that one again sometime with some guests. Echo, buddy. You know what? Nate, Echo, everybody, Mayanne, Anthony, everybody, get in here. There we go. That's my guy. There we go. Hey, Echo, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Echo's going through some stuff also, so it's nice of him to drop by. Oh, the man's baby's asleep, so she gets a night to just hang out. All right, woohoo! Ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Um, Let me once again get this a little bit set up and check the. Well, you're our guy, Echo. You're cool as hell, buddy. So you know how it is when somebody you love is going through something that's you know, we've all kind of been there probably, but we also all know it's like, yep, sucks every time, no matter what, it's awful. So, you know, on a lot of levels, brother. So, anyways, Silence of the Lambs. Getting ready to put it on. It's a classic. It's, I think, the ultimate is this horror or isn't this horror movie, right? Like, it's the one even people argue about. The same way you argue about, like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. Let me make this a little better for you. The same way you would argue that is Die Hard a Christmas movie or whatever, you would argue is Silence of the Lambs a horror film? And it's Echo says it's a horror and thriller. I think because of police procedural thing, it doesn't feel horror-ish. But then, like tonight, when I watch it specifically, I'm gonna look at the elements, and when I think of all the elements, yeah, it's a horror movie. But like I say, the fact that it feels almost like just a really same with Seven. Seven's basically a horror movie. I mean, some awful things happen in Seven, and stuff that's way sicker than a lot of mainstream ghost stories or horror stories. So but it's a police procedural, so it feels like, you know. So Karen from Motion Chicks Films is here. Well, welcome, Karen. Look at everybody give Karen the heart and the love. Everybody loves Karen. She's a sweet lady. Um, Nate's wishing everybody well. I'm wishing everybody well too. I wish it's all well. That's what I like. So yeah, I'm gonna get started here in a minute. I thought I would just hang out, and let people see that I'm on, and then we'll get going because I don't want to be up too late. Beautiful thing about this movie, less than 2 hours with credits, which means no credits. That's like 150. So yeah, you can get in and out on this one pretty quick. Um, Perfect lead up to our Halloween and fall movies because you're getting ready to just be bombarded with ghosts and stabbers and screaming women running in the woods and stuff. So this breaks the mold and it really builds up. It's got the like fall tension where everything's kind of raining and drab, and I don't know, I dig it. It's a cool movie. It gives me the creeps every time I see it. The stuff with Buffalo Bill, just all of it. We'll talk about it when we get there, but yeah, it's a fantastic film. It's hard to it's hard to deny. It's whether you think it's horror or not. It's chilling and disturbing. Like the whole stuff with can you help me move this chair, and next thing you know you're being kidnapped. It's like, damn, I'm using my own kindness against me. Like, so yeah, this movie's just sick on another level, bro. That's why I like it. Cheers to Silence of the Lambs. Hey, Carrie Crave Cinema is popping in to say hi and have fun. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. It's very sweet of you. um so I assume, is there anybody in there in the chat who hasn't seen Silence of the Lambs? I think this is like Jaws. Everybody's seen this, right? Um, Also, hey, Dave is here. Hi, Dave. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Carrie thinks Silence of the Lambs is a masterpiece. I agree too. Uh, be sure to leave you whether you think this is a horror or not in the comments or in the chat or wherever. This is a hey, Lady J Ghoul. Um, welcome everyone. It's nice of you to drop by. Yeah, be sure to give your thoughts on that because this is such an interesting movie. It's as close to horror as horror can get with maybe not being horror, but I kind of think it is, but it's easy arguably that it isn't. It's so acclaimed. Like you know, it's recognized by the Academy or whatever, so it feels like it's highfalutin. It's not some grungy, dirty Texas Chainsaw Massacre, visceral, blood on everything movie. Yet it's the one that gives you nightmares, and we all talk about it, like they're just being trapped in some creep's well and all that, like weird and ugh. But I was thinking, is Manhunter then a horror? Like, and Hannibal doesn't feel like a horror, but this does. So it's not necessarily the character of Lecter that feels like a horror character, but this specific movie feels horrible. Lady G Cool, that's nice of you to hang out. I appreciate that. Dave fell asleep earlier. Dave's a busy dude. Never can tell what Dave's up to. Dave's living that international playboy life. No, Dave says he fell asleep. Go with both. Anyway, so everybody here in America, this is available on HBO Max. I'll get that up and running. It's yeah, an hour and 59 minutes. If anybody wants to watch along with me, I'll give it another few. I've been on for 10, but I don't want to be up too late. We're almost up to 1 o'clock, and I don't want to be up to the crack of dawn. I'm a little crooked, and it's pissing me off every time I look. I'm like, why are you crooked? So I'm going to try to de-crooked me. Did that do it? Did that de-crooked me? I don't know. That's a little better. A little better. It's all an adventure. All right, I'm going to stop there while I'm ahead. Am I ahead, Don? Really? Am I ever ahead? Close enough, sure. That's what I'm going with. All right, now that we've played the get the camera set up game, that's always my favorite part of these chats. So the audio check up front. Testes, 1, 2, 3. Look, Wikipedia lists it as a psychological horror thriller. Everybody's just saying hi to Carrie. May wants a countdown. Sure. I'll give you one in just 1 second. I'll make sure everybody's settled in here, and we'll get going. I like the thought of that. May's a rider with me. All right. I have mine up. I've got my mouse and cursor ready. Let's make sure everything's reasonable. Everything looks reasonable. The health of the stream is going well. That's a word combination of words my brain has never put together before. It threw me a loop. I found a glitch. There's an error in my programming. What do you know? Psychological horror thriller. Yeah, that's good because it mixes horror in there, but it also waters it down with psychological and thriller because it knows it's like I feel like mixing this into a Halloween batch of movies wouldn't throw anybody off, but this one you can watch also in, June, no problem. As where like Trick or Treat, I love Trick or Treat, and I'm getting ready to watch it. I'm sure for Halloween, maybe once or twice this next month, but I don't really ever watch Trick or Treat in like February, you know. So this one's just the right amount of scary, just the amount of any time of year it'll creep you the hell out, man. I remember first watching Silence of the Lambs first time when I was 12. I had nightmare for days. Yeah, that's the thing, Dave. Me too. I think this and Seven and like Deliverance. That's kind of what I've been watching this month. Is stuff that's on the border of horror because I'm getting ready to watch all the horror. So I figured with this stuff, this is the king of is this horror or is this not horror? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or isn't it? Damn it. So yeah, I consider it horror, but it also falls in that hunt for serial killer crime drama, police procedural. That's a tongue twister for me too. I don't know why I have trouble with that. So yeah, I think Hopkins' performance, but Brian, what's his name in Manhunter, he does just as good too. So. And then what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. Is that who's Lecter on the TV show? Get you guys a little bit closer to me here. Get some audio for you. He doesn't say hello, Clarice anymore in this movie. Let's see. And Dave says, Die Hard is 100% a Christmas. That I knew Dave and I would get along right away. High five for Dave too. Census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Yeah, that's what I thought about opening the stream with the thing, and I was just like, you know what, I can't do it. The beaver face, it's too weird. Somebody will clip it. Somebody's probably gonna clip that and use it against me. That's the sick world we live in. So thank you, man. He man put Dave's link in the comments there, in the chat there. So if you're not following anybody, if anybody isn't following anybody, I always approve of the people in my chat. If every now and then somebody strange wanders in, and then next thing you know, they're always cool. I've yet to have a creep. So I don't know if I just have awesome moderators who shield me from the awfulness of the internet world, or if I'm just fostering a cool community, or what I'm doing here. But all my people are cool. I vouch for all y'all. Damn it. Mace says, "You're welcome." Exactly. She's a great mother to her children and to me, her other children. All right, let's get Silence of the Lambs rocking and rolling here, kid. Dave does awesome content. I know. I found Dave through my guy Gareth on Video Tasties, and he's always turning me on to cool people too. Dave's in there, and then I found out Dave crosses over with my guy JT Horrors discussions. I'm struggling with the mouth today, you guys. Whatever I say can't be held against me. It's this, the mouth's on broke. JT's Horror Discussions is also friends with Dave, so crossover there. I like that bubble, the multiverse bubble, where we're all somehow connected. It's a web, almost like a worldwide web, which trademark. So I'm going to start Silence of the Lambs. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a 5, a 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so make sure I got mute and captions. This is always the struggle at the beginning. Do I have the comments right? Fanfare plays. Hell yeah. I'm excited already. There's the MGM lion. Don't you roar at me, you big cat son of a bitch. Let's get the audio set up. Make sure everybody can hear the big dum-dum saying dumb things about the great movie. Question for the chat or commenters. Do you pronounce this Orion or Orion? Like, I think it's Orion, like Orion's belt, but I've heard people pronounce it Orion. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to be all some highfalutin astronomy snob. Woods near Quantico, Virginia. See what I told you about the mouth today? The tongue's taking a day off. The writers went off strike and the tongue went on strike. It wants more. Orion. I like to say onion. Yeah, good one, Echo. Orion's belt. Yeah, so you guys are on the Orion tip too, but you know, it might also be a linguistic thing. Like maybe people in Australia say Orion or whatever. I don't know. They say vitamin in England, and it blows my mind. Or garage. I'm like, a what? And I'm sure we sound just as dumb to them. But all right, horror element number 1 starts out on a woods with all foggy smoke and all this like dead decaying. I mean, it literally has a woman running through foggy woods to open the movie. So that's horror movie check number 1. Charles Napier. I love that square-jawed son of a bitch. Every time I do a video, my mouth never works. I'm usually all right. Sometimes, like, I'm at my peak hours right now. So, like, if you catch me at 9 a.m., it's broke. My voice is real deep in the morning, and I talk very slow. I take my time because I know I will say something dumb otherwise. But at night, I'm fun, I'm more loose. I can kind of, get flowing and da-da-da. But I don't know. Today, it's broke. I'm also only a quarter into this beer, so that, I got to grease up the machine a little bit. That'll help. And I like that they established right from the beginning that she's a worthy foe for whatever, like she's competent for whatever she's getting ready to face. That's awesome. But we also established that she's like smaller and feels inferior to the people around her, and she has like a thing she has to overcome with that. Nate's watching on Look Movie. Beer always helps. Cheers. Cheers, bro. Uh, let's see. Question, Carrie. Do you eat the Oreo or the whole open or the frosting first like I do? It's a mixture. I'll usually eat the Oreo as just one whole piece, but every now and then I'll go with the twist, and then you kind of eat the one, and then the chocolate cookie on its own is a weird, sad thing. I don't know. It's all right. It's mediocre. It's very chocolatey. That'll turn your teeth black. Yeah, this is all shot very shadowy and dark. Like there's none of this that's like, meanwhile at FBI headquarters. Nah, this is all like dark, and I love when Roger Corman turns up in this. And what the hell's Chris Isaac doing in this movie? Okay. Director of photography, the famous Tak Fujimoto. Based on the novel by Thomas Harris. After I saw Manhunter, I ended up reading the novelization of this movie, and then found out that there was actually a different version, the Thomas Harris version. And then I went back and tried to read that one Christmas, and the two crossovers were so weird, it kind of felt strange. But then later on, I read Hannibal, and I felt more connected to Thomas Harris. Yeah, screenplay by Ted Talley. See, I think that's the one I accidentally read up front. It messed me up as far as. Yeah, all the dudes kind of leer at her. Like they do a good job of. See, this is the way I like feminism presented. Like, you don't need to beat me over the head with some heavy duty message. Like, show me a woman I like and then show me her perspective. Like, all these dudes always just kind of looking her up and down. And, she's just trying to do her job. Give her a break, man. Buffalo Bill. This movie's cool because it's got the multi layers because of the whole trying to get Hannibal to help them solve the mystery. You feel like Hannibal is the villain, but really Hannibal lives in like sort of this like limbo world between good guy and bad guy. He's helping the police, but he's, also just as dangerous as the damn killer, basically. Beer always helps. I'm watching on Luke. Looks like a prison. Yeah, exactly. They want things to be institutionalized and drab. Here's Scott Glenn. He's really good in this. Normally, he plays almost like a tough guy. Like he usually shows off like his strength in movies, and here he's playing almost like a pencil pushing nerd, which is interesting for him. Um, I like a woman playing an FBI agent, not an FBI agent playing a woman. That makes sense. Yeah. My nemesis. Oh, two boys in there. Scary Pops is in here. Welcome, welcome. You ever see the movie Bugsy Malone? It also has Jodie Foster. She's a child actor at the time. Is Bugsy Malone the one with Chachi? And then it has like the famous pie fight. Am I recalling that one right? At this point, all these damn titles, they start to run together. It's like, no, you're thinking of Bugs Bunny. My loving nemesis. Okay. I always liked him in Urban Cowboy for Scott Glenn. Scott Glenn is you know what he's fantastic in is Castle Rock season 1, I think it is. Him and Sissy Spacek have this whole turn where she's like slowly getting dementia as she gets older, and he's like her boyfriend who's taking care of her, and it's going on in the middle of like a scary story. So it's an acting tour de force in the middle of some scary Stephen King shit, or pseudo Stephen King shit. The whole cast was kids who used pies to kill each other. Yeah, see, I kind of vaguely remember Bugsy Malone. Um, it was sort of a parody. They were real big into like being irreverent in the I don't know, around the 70s, I should say, the late 70s, early 80s. Video Tasties and I are getting ready to watch Student Bodies, hopefully, if his VHS works all right. And that's the same thing. It came out around Airplane. They did just even Flash Gordon is like kind of a Batman irreverent Batman, Adam West Batman irreverent thing, you know. Anyway, so they're explaining to her that they want her to help on this, and later on it kind of comes out well, Lecter surmises they pick her specifically because they wanted a young woman's perspective, and that she also might be kind of like cat and mouse bait on this shit. And they also think that Lecter would be more apt to talk to a pretty woman than talk to a, you know, oh god, what's the name of this damn uh the Chilton is his name in the movie. Um in the story, he is, let me find the yeah, because this guy's a super creep. The guy that plays the dude that runs the, I don't know, I guess you would call it a prison, but it feels more like some sort of weird psychological institution, you know, home for the criminally insane, if there is such a thing anymore. Why are you hiding from me, IMDb? There you are. The Google rating on this is 4.7 out of 5. The IMDb rating on this is an 8.6 out of 10. My personal rating is a 10 out of 10. Anthony Heald. Shout out to him. You kill it as Chilton in this, dude. You are a straight creep. Every time you show up, I'm happy to see you. All right. Get to playing with the internet and get all lost. That's what I always think of. They keep Lecter in Arkham Asylum. Like, I always figure if you walked by one of these cells where they keep multiple MIGs and stuff, and you saw the Riddler sitting in there, you would just be like, yep, it tracks. Oh, hey, there's a giant crocodile man just sitting in there pouting. That was awesome. He tells her the story about how Lecter attacked the nurse. And they do it where they have to stop in this security, almost like decompression chamber. They walk into one cage and it closes, another cage opens up, and a way to keep Lecter from getting out, one more level of security. But for some reason, they have a red light in that little secure area. So when he tells the story of how Lecter ate the woman's face, it's all in red light. You know, what a happy accident that they just ended up underneath a red light to tell that creepy ass story. And now we're back into this bright institutional room. I'll never understand why decaying old buildings are creepy. I'm assuming people just naturally attach ghosts to them or whatever. But even here, the little dungeon area is all looks like it's crackling and falling down. Awesome 360 shot. Don't get near the glass. Don't get near the glass, Crease. Oh, let's see. Let's get everybody. 12:0. Let's see. 12:25. It looks like roughly. I'm in. She's just met Barney, and Barney's opened up the door to let her in to go meet Lecter because nobody wants to go down that hallway with her. I'm not walking down there with you, lady. I'm not introducing you to them. Getting God only knows thrown on my face. Okay, so there's all these security gates. Like there's one gate, she goes through it, another gate closes, and another gate opens, and she walks in, and then Barney and all them are in there with watching everybody. And then another gate opens, and they go in there, and Barney closes another gate, and she walks in. And then at the end of the tunnel, there's clearly like a staircase. Where does that go? I want a prequel that explains the architecture of this Arkham Asylum. They've got Lecter trapped in here. May is finally a movie we've seen before. I know, that's why I picked this one. If there's anybody who hasn't seen this in the chat, be sure to let me know. I feel like this is one almost everybody has seen. This and Shawshank Redemption. Jaws used to be one, and Star Wars used to be one. A New Hope, whatever, Empire Strikes Back. Those used to be ones everybody saw, but not anymore. Those brands are watered down. There's plenty of folks who haven't seen Star Wars or Jaws now. Everybody should see. Everyone should see Jaws. Watch it on 4th of July. That is great how he introduces himself as a character. He just like walks up and invades your space as an audience. Like he fills up the screen closer than a close-up should be. So as an audience, you're kind of like, all right, bro, back up. And that's how he is with her. He always talks to her like he's in control, like he knows what perfume she wears. He comments on her clothes and where it's from. He always shows like, I know you. Her acting is great. She's doing great eye acting in this. Like she's on the verge of crying, but she's trying to hold it together. I think that's one of the arguments against why this isn't considered a horror movie. Is everybody in this is doing such a good job acting that it feels like a prestige movie and not some B movie like most horror movies are. But I think this is up there with like The Exorcist. It's just the best horror can be. Man, seen all the Star Wars. We're still man if my humor is not back 100% by Wednesday. She's hosting the watch along for Trauma. Oh, that's right. On Wednesday, May and is going to check out the Trauma Classics. So be sure to check out Echo's page for that, I believe, right? Oh, they already watched Toxic Avenger, so. Shout out to Eric hanging out. I appreciate that. And I saw Lady J Ghoul. See with the mouth? See with the mouth? Saw you guys hanging out. That's cool. I appreciate that. It's always nice to have new people hanging out. Working on a new poll for next week. Echo made her watch Toxic Avenger. I got it sitting in my collection behind me. You know I do. Actually, I think I got 1 through 4, maybe 1, 2, and 4, something like that. I got the good ones. I got Citizen Toxie. I know that's all that matters. The first one is the one I fell in love with. I saw the first one on USA Up All Night so many times. So anyways, here Lecter is giving one of his awesome monologues while she's just killing it with the face acting, and like her hair's kind of in her face, but she's afraid to take it out, and he stares a hole through her. Yeah, creepy dungeon. Add that to the horror movie aesthetic. We got starts off with a woman running in the woods, and now we are a creepy dungeon with killers. Now in the chat they're discussing their favorite trauma movies. I like what is it? Class of Nukem High. That was what it is. But yeah, that original Toxic Avenger. Also, what's it? Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. People always want me to watch Poultrygeist at Thanksgiving, and I don't consider Poultrygeist a Thanksgiving movie. I consider Blood Rage and Home Sweet Home and Blood Freak, the one where the guy gets turned into a giant turkey. So here's where Lecter just breaks down his psychological profile of her, which is funny because she was just handed like all the psychological profile stuff from her bosses where they explain, here's who he is, do your research on him, be knowledgeable. And he looks at her for 5 seconds and has her completely sized up. He just like dominates her with his personality. I mean, he's in a frigging cage and he's bullying her. Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town. Woo woo. Poultrygeist, Terror Firmer, Romeo and Juliet. What's that first one? Blood-sucking freaks. Is that first one? Or early one? I have that one as well. I have like a Troma collection. So there's I ate his fava beans with a nice Chianti. And the caption describes that as hissing. So if you wanted to ever know what technically that little beaver noise he makes, that muskrats in love noise, that's apparently hissing. Huh. Hey, Cal. It is me. Hi, Cal. Welcome, buddy. Oh God, here's Miggs doing what he does. I had a friend who was a female prison corrections guard, and she said that had happened to her before. But I don't know, man. What's wrong with the world? But I've never been criminally insane, so who am I to judge? So this mug just hits her with a riddle. See, that's why I said this Arkham Asylum feels apt for what is going on here. It feels like, if the Penguin was in the next cell. Yeah, it's with an anagram. Mofet. Moffat. All right, back off, bro. Silence of the Lambs would make a great Thanksgiving movie. Yeah, it would. Eating Raoul. It's a good Thanksgiving movie. Actually, that Pilgrim movie, if you have Hulu, I don't have Hulu anymore, but when I had it, I watched Pilgrim. And that was pretty decent. There was like some Blumhouse thing they did where they did like a movie for each holiday, and they did it for like maybe 2 years. And I think the pandemic hit and that fizzled out or whatever. But there's two different Thanksgiving ones. There's one that's basically just a throat, but then there's one called Pilgrim where it's like this lady has pilgrims come to her house to give them an authentic Thanksgiving, and they just like torture her and terrorize her and teach her the meaning of Thanksgiving. And yes, I will probably be seeing Eli Ross Thanksgiving. Whatchamacallit? Did you guys get the message? Anybody on Instagram get the message from Jack the Pilgrim or whatever the hell his name is? There's like if they know you're into horror, they'll throw that Pilgrim ad into your feed, and if you click on it, I think they'll message you, like, because that's what happened to me. I clicked like to be like, yeah, I'll check out Pilgrim. I like Grindhouse, and then next thing you know, I got the damn message from Jack like, I'm saving a seat for you at my table or whatever. Like, thanks, Jack, or whatever your name is. May I got the message too. Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's good marketing. That's super smart. I always like when traditional television is dead. Like, the only time I ever watch it is to see sports. So if a trailer doesn't get into sports, I don't ever see it. So all my trailers pop up on YouTube and the commercials, or they pop up sometimes on ESPN because through the Disney tie over, they use a lot of splash pages. They use a lot of splash pages to get everything advertised for their new movies, and then sometimes they pimp out other movies like the Fast and Furious will like take over ESPN's page for a day or whatever. Like, damn, all right, I get it. But yeah, that was cool just to like click on a Pilgrim, like, oh, I like, and the next thing you know, I'm chatting with a horror icon, maybe a horror icon. Let's not give him that yet. He wrote my name on the plate setting, and the caption said, "There will be no leftovers, May." Awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I'm trying to remember another movie hit me with that almost same trick. Like, I liked something, a post on Facebook or a post on Twitter, and the next thing I opened up my message and I was being messaged by whatever movie. Like, oh, thank you, Batman or whatever. So here she's breaking into this storage shelter, storage shed, storage wars. Um, and this scene right here, this is classic horror stuff. Why does she have to go at night? You can't go when it's bright out? I think they kind of explained away in the plot for like 2 seconds, but so of course she has to do it at night. Of course there's no light in there, so it has to be creepy. This is a total just jump scare waiting to happen from the moment the door only opens that much. John Carver. Thank you, Mayanne. John Carver. These people. And at the time, these cars, like I saw this movie in the theater with my parents. A buddy was going to stay the night when I was like 13 or 14. My parents were looking for something to do, so they took us to the movies and they sat like 2 rows away so as not to embarrass us. And we watched this and it was scary as true. And later on when it was nominated for Oscars and stuff, I was just like, that's crazy because I thought of it as a horror movie back then. Although the FBI stuff really makes it feel like something more. I'm trying to visually, as I watch it, compare it to like Manhunter and Hannibal and stuff. The reason I think this is horror and those other ones aren't is this just looks different. It's been desaturated. All the colors are pulled out of it. Everybody's cold as opposed to like Manhunter, where everybody's in the Miami heat. Manhunter, the Michael Mann version, is basically friggin' Miami Vice. Like it's the coolest, scariest version of Miami Vice possible. It's great. Tom Noonan plays Red Dragon, and he's scary as hell. And oh god, what's his name? Brian Cox is Lecter in that one. Um, the Lecter in there, they got him clinical. Like he's all in white. Like he looks very clean. The place they have him in looks like a hospital as opposed to this Arkham Asylum thing they got Lecter in. See, look at Thanksgiving. Send me and May free tickets for the free advertising we just did for you guys. All right. So yeah, so everybody in the chat's fascinated by this whole viral marketing thing on Instagram. They're checking into it now. So I'm at the part where she's just looking into the car in the storage shed. If you've ever been in one of those storage sheds, they're way tiny. Like they're the size of a garage, like a one-car garage. So in here, she's like lurking around and there's just endless stuff in there. There's like shelving units. This is a big, like half a warehouse they got her in. There's room for a friggin' hearse in there. Like you could put a hearse and maybe some boxes in a normal storage shed. Yes, it's my favorite of the franchise, Manhunter. Manhunter, like I say, it's awesome. I wouldn't consider it horror. I like Manhunter better than what's it, Red Dragon or whatever. Red Dragon, I don't know, Edward Norton with that wig and all that. Like I don't know, it's all right. It's okay. It's like the crappy Batman movies. I like any Batman, so even bad Batman is okay, but I'd prefer good Batman, and that's how I feel about Red Dragon. But Manhunter, yeah, yeah, Nate, you're right. The head does look like Leatherface. Um, but yeah, Manhunter, it's fantastic. But yeah, it's very montagey music video. Like I say, the things that made Miami Vice such a good TV show that people remember and talk about to this day is all the stuff that's in Manhunter condensed. Um, Same with what was Michael Mann? Um, he had a TV show that was like The Untouchables, and that show's aesthetic has been copied a million times. I need to rewatch the new Miami Vice with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell. At the time I remember thinking it was okay, but it was uh I don't know, a little convoluted, a little just too much flash, not enough substance, which is funny because that's Michael Mann's kind of thing sometimes. But I've since heard people say that it's a hidden masterpiece. Like, go back and watch it again. You'll appreciate it way more nowadays than you did then. So you don't think you've seen Manhunter? Um, yeah, it's a earlier '80s movie. It's a little more brighter. It takes place, I think, in Florida or somewhere. At least the main dude, the guy from CSI, is the main dude. Um, uh, William, I already forgot his name. Um, but it's very like music video-ish. It feels like an MTV serial killer movie. It feels like the coolest, most possible, best version of a Dexter episode or something. Like, um, but the plot, like, it's got some scary shit in there too. Like, they set a dude on fire, and it's got some awfulness in it. It just feels on the scale of is this more police procedural or horror? Like the reason I keep talking about this one being horror is I feel like this is using all the elements, and it's whether it is or not, or even was intended to be, the guy who made this was going out of his way to try to make you feel like you do in a horror movie. Like, this is all bad, man. Get out of here. Why are you in this dungeon talking to a lunatic? Raid Redemption, May, I think November will probably have to be. I'm going to be needing stuff that's not horror for a good month or so. Um, so I was thinking about, yeah, trying to do maybe some Tarantino, maybe some action, some stuff building up. And then, of course, like the last 2 weeks before Christmas, I'll probably do some Christmas movies. I'm a Halloween over Christmas guy. So for Halloween, I'll watch a month worth of movies, but for Christmas, I'll watch like 2 weeks worth of movies. Although for Christmas, I'll still watch Christmas movies like on the 28th, the 29th. On like Halloween, like November 1st, I'm pretty much like, all right, I need to tap out on horror for a while. I love this, that he knows the way to torture Lecter is to put a televangelist just sitting there blaring so he can't sleep and he has to just listen to that annoying stuff just all night. Sounds good. Yeah, we I may have to have you come on for Raid Redemption since you asked about it. Have a May stream. William Peterson. Thank you, Lady J. Yeah, he's one of those that guy actors, but every time I see him, I like him. Like, I've never once thought, oh, why is William Peterson in this? Like, every time he shows up, he kills it. He does a great job, but he isn't on like my A list of actors, so I always forget him. He was in a really good like minor league baseball movie called Long Gone that was on HBO like 8 million times. And yeah, Manhunter, he's great in. He's great in what, CSI. Um, but sometimes he'll show up as just like a corporate stooge in a movie, like a second to the bad guy or something. It's like, yep, there's William Peterson just killing it again. So now we're in Memphis once again at night in the rain. Everything's all steamy and like just eerie, foggy. Do you think this song or this movie made Tom Petty's American Girl? Like, this was a very popular song on the radio and stuff, but after this, people always are just like, yeah, Tom Petty's American Girl, bro. Dermot Mulroney and Virginia Madsen. I like that one. Long Gone. Yeah, Eric knows. That's a that's one where Teller from Penn and Teller plays a speaking role, so it blows your mind. Like, the whole time he's in there and he's talking, you're like, what? Like, I didn't know you had a voice. Yeah, this is all shot like almost like 70s grindhouse style. It's shot much cheaper than the budget would indicate. The desaturation, but it's all intentional. It's supposed to make you feel like this is Black Christmas or something, you know? Because the other movies at the time didn't look like this. Watch another movie from 91 or whatever. This is, yeah, Black Christmas jumps to mind immediately with the color timing and tone of it. This was the scene I'm talking about earlier. This scares the hell out of me because this is some crap I would get killed on. And I know that. If I've been driving down a deserted road and seen a car pulled over several times. And what does dumbass Don do? He pulls over and helps him. I could have been murdered so many times. And I know that. That's my own stupidity. So nowadays, I'm just like, maybe I'll just drive ahead and call 911 or something. But the idea of just, hey, man, dude, you look big. Can you help me move this chair real quick? My arm's broke. Yeah, I'll help you. And I go over and I help him move the chair. And next thing you know, I'm in somebody's well putting the lotion in the basket. You know, he's using my own kindness against me. It's terrifying. And he just flips the switch. Ted Levine, he's awesome. He flips the switch and he goes from all weak and like can't lift the chair to immediately just angry and punching her just aggressively like I'm crazed and madman. And now we're 3403 or something like that. And it's the first time we see Buffalo Bill. Like we haven't met this character before. So we have to get the first act done before we even meet the star of Act 2 and 3. Yep, right. End up in Mexico with your organs removed. I know. I think of that stuff too all the time. People are like, have you ever had a hookup on the internet? Like, if somebody contacted you and be like, meet me at this hotel, you know, or whatever. And I'm like, are you crazy? I'd show up at some hotel. There'd be a pretty woman or whoever there. I'd go inside, and then two dudes would come out of the bathroom. And next thing you know, there's like internet video on the dark web of horrible things happening to me. I've seen too many Hitchcock movies for that shit. My mind works immediately from awfulness back. Like even here, they're showing the FBI training center and they're the how the cops go about doing their like training things. We've seen this in other movies. It never looks like this. Like Feds with Rebecca De Mornay and Mary Gross. Um, and what other movies? Even the Denis Villeneuve with the funny name Syriana. Is that no, not Syriana? What's the one with the Mexico? The God damn it. Anyways, we've seen the FBI training scenes before. You know how they make sure they have to clear the room and you can't let anybody be behind you and all that. Here, it looks almost like it's in a horror movie. Everything's all gray and rainy and just there's no happy place in this entire movie. There's no such thing as a happy day in this world. Mayann's laughing at me not being seduced by these internet succubuses who want to put me in a hostile movie. I'm not falling for that crap, May. Because that's totally what happened. Is I see it on the internet all the time, like Instagram, when you get the weird like half stripper bikini model or whatever, and you click on her page and you're like, why did you friend me? And you can see why. It's like this is some sort of scam for some reason. Someone somewhere is trying to get me to follow this page, and I want no part of it. Thank you. You click on the other people who already follow it, and they all look like me. It's just a bunch of dudes with beards. It's like, oh, there's me as a black bald dude. There's me as a Mexican dude. There's me as a Chinese guy. It's like just a bunch of dudes my age. That's one of the reasons I had to quit stupid Twitter. All it became was just people, uh, sex bots putting me on a list. You have been added to a list by Melinda. You have been added to a list by Jackie or whatever. I'm like, no, I have not. Good day, madam, you internet hussy. That and the people who thought, my name's Don and I live in Wisconsin. So my internet handle is Dairyland Don. But people who don't know that seem to think I'm some sort of milk magnate, and they always want to send me messages like, milk is murder, you son of a bitch. So Twitter became that nonstop too. Like people just like, don't you know that milking of cows deprives the baby? It's like, I don't give a shit. Dude, leave me alone. Weirdo Twitter people. So yeah, I don't trust strangers and their antics is the point of that rant. Anyway, Silence of the Lambs is going on. Um, Eric knows. Yeah. See, you fellas have seen this before. It's ridiculous. And then here's another unsettling, like they're using the smart horror tropes. What else makes people uncomfortable? Nursing homes. Like they're just sort of creepy and weird. I don't even believe in any of that. And I find nursing homes just sort of uncomfortable. The wallpaper and just this room that somebody used to be like someone's dining room in a big old school mansion is now where we keep bodies and display them. Take it easy, Eric. I appreciate you hanging out. Peace, brother. And then here's once again, like, see, this is an awesome feminist message. She's the only woman. They're all taller than her. They're looking down. She does a 360 shot where they're all just kind of glaring at her, and even some of them are kind of like licking their lips and stuff. And she's just like, this sucks. Some days I don't like being the only chick in this job, man. But they don't have to club you over the head with it, where she has some breakdown like, you don't know how hard it's to be a woman in the workplace. It's like, no, I'm seeing it. You're showing me. Like, I'm down with your message. Don't tell me your message stupidly, though, or I'm going to get mad at you. And this does a great job of like showing, and it also gives her a character arc. She has to grow into her position where she doesn't take shit anymore. Like, okay, you punks don't intimidate me. I'm Jodie Foster, MFer. The bathroom is silent. Okay, everybody's good. I had to check on the chat every now and then to make sure folks are doing fine. Yeah, this also feels like something out of a 70s movie where she's going into she's having this weird like childhood flashback and she forgets where she is and she sort of zones out and just stumbles into this funeral while having a flashback to when she was a kid at a funeral. And all this is good character building stuff. I'm not sure it's necessary, but it's good to show her, like little her. It once again reinforces her growth as a person. It's like she's just a little girl, and that's probably what she feels like on the inside. But here she is in the middle of this like life or death situation of solving this crime. It gives her, I don't know. Oh, and here's the part where she tells these dudes to get lost. She's like, okay, gentlemen, can y'all leave? They just look at her like, what? Oh, Ben's here. What's up, Ben? Yeah, he says Mads is his Hannibal. A lot of people who say that. I watched up till he got to France. What season is that? 2, 3? I don't know. I watched what's that called? Hannibal, the show, or Lecter, the show, whatever. The one that was on NBC. I watched it on Prime when it was on there, and that's a good show. I think I only saw Hannibal Rising like once. I barely remember that. That's like a fever dream. I was like, I don't know. Young Hannibal was on a train. He had a mask and it was dumb as hell. I don't know. Brian Cox. Brian Cox is with the Lambs. I don't think so. May says, "Who's that?" Mads Mikkelsen's. If you saw him, you'd know him. He's a villain in a lot of stuff. He's like a, um, I think he was the villain in like the latest James Bond movie or one of the James Bond movies. Um, he was Lecter on the show. It was almost like a prequel to where they showed Lecter as the doctor like prior to being locked up, they used Lecter to help solve crimes, and so they showed like kind of the prequel. But it's a different timeline. It multiverse crap. Yeah, once again, my brain gets overwhelmed with multiple incarnations of a character sometimes. It's like I forget what's canon, what isn't. Yeah, there's an argument that most of the people who played Lecter did a good job. Well, let's see. Brian Cox did a good job, and Anthony Hopkins did a great job, and then uh, Mads did a fine job. But I don't even remember old boy from Hannibal Rising. Was that anybody of note? Is that somebody who grew up to be somebody famous later? Did that turn out to be Timothy Chalamet or something? Um, uh, um, yeah, I guess that's all who has played him, right? It seems like somebody else has for some reason. But oh, he was the villain in Indiana Jones for Ben Grimm. Yeah, yeah. Mayans thinks Mads Mikkelsen's gorgeous. Yeah, people like him. We got the high cheekbones. And then now they're doing the thing where they pull out the weird butterfly inside her throat. See, I think scenes like this, although horrific, kind of make it feel less horrible or horror movie-ish. Because this feels like police procedure. Like the whole putting the menthol underneath the nose so it doesn't stink as bad. And here's my main guy, Bob. How strange that dude got like 3 seconds in Batman '89, and he'll always be Bob the Goon for the rest of his life to me. Ah, hello, Gareth. It's always nice when you pop in. I usually shout you out at some point during these, and I think your shout out was earlier. So you'll have to go back and watch it then. I was talking about how we might be watching Student Bodies, depending on whether or not your tape holds up. And the irreverent early 80s. People refuse to take things seriously. As we're here, they take things deathly seriously. So this is disgusting. So they didn't even clean the leaves off her yet? I don't like I've never really looked at this at a good high definition transfer. Though I used to think those were wounds on that body's leg, and it's like leaves and stuff. Like they straight up just pulled her directly out of the river. Like they didn't towel her off or nothing. I guess forensics, duh, but have some dignity. At least pick the leaves off her. Gareth, you're a good person to ask. Is this horror? The consensus is yes-ish. Wikipedia describes it as a psychological horror thriller, which seems to cover all the bases. But I feel like it's impossible to watch this movie and not feel like grossed out and weirded out. It's hard to not check noises after this movie. Hey, Russell Collier here. Welcome, buddy. Damn, man says it's horror to her. This is just one of those movies. Like you could put it in the thriller section and nobody would really balk at that. But if you put this in the horror, but like even this, where she goes to take this little um, moth thing, whatever, to these professors down at the local college. They do this same scene in Seven, um, and then they They do kind of the same deal in Sinister. You know, this is the scene where we need to find out about the bad guy, so we have to involve some smart people at the local college or like help unravel the mystery. So all the horror elements just keep turning up. This is a weird bit of whatever too, that this whole movie dudes are kind of leering at her and giving her the side eye, like, what's up, girl? And she's just, I'm here to do work. And then this weird lazy-eyed professor is like staring her down, and it's half creepy, and she's kind of flirting with him. Like he's her type. The guy with the lazy-eyed professor genius guy. I feel that. If I was in a blockbuster, this would not be in a horror section. Yes, I don't know. All the towards the end, blockbusters were all the or what do they call it? All the big chain stores went to alphabetical and let you decide, because they ran into the same problem I ran into with trying to keep things into genres. Like, does Blazing Saddles go under comedy or western? Does Dirty Dancing go under romance or musical? Whatever. So the genre definition becomes really hard on these films. And I think that's the issue with this. It's like it's a mixed genre. It's a police procedural, but it keeps turning the hot water up on horror every now and then. So you're like, oh, I just got a hot splash of horror on me. Ugh. Miggs, you son of a bitch. I have two copies, one in horror and one in general. That a boy. I used to keep I used to keep all the serial killer movies together in horror movies, like when these were all in genre. I had all the slashers together, and at the end of slashers, I had serial killers, and that faded into police procedurals, um, and sort of thriller murder movies or whatever. So to me, it just sits on the fence. All these serial killer movies, they're horror when they need to be, because they're so awful to think about, and they give you nightmares worse than a real horror or a standard horror movie. There was the president. It was Roger Corman on the wall, or whoever, the head of the FBI or whatever the hell that is. You worked at a Blockbuster before they closed, Ben? Yeah, they. I worked for a parent company of several: Hollywood Video, Movie Gallery, Planet Video, all them. So I worked in all those type of stores. But back in town, before video stores completely closed here, that we had a Blockbuster. The one the next town over is still listed as temporarily closed. So here now we're back to police procedural, where they show, okay, the serial killer's got the girl, so we want to humanize the girl to the killer. So try to show baby pictures, try to make it know that she has a mother that loves her, try to, get in the dude's head. If there's any semblance of like humanity or decency in this sociopath, hopefully this will appeal to it. Frankie Faison, who played Barney in Silence on the Lambs. Russell. So now this becomes almost like The Wire. We see how like the political machinations start affecting this case. It's like once we find out that the politician's daughter is involved, and then the Chilton, the dude that runs the prison or the Arkham Asylum, he wants to clearly monetize this for some sort of book or podcast or some shit. And so when he's being cut out of the loop, he gets mad. Yep, Ben. Ben says the story I totally agree. Feel with. Uh, I was there when they switched blockbusters from VHS to DVD. They told us to break all the tapes and throw them away, but we just ended up taking boxes of tapes home. I still have tapes at parents' house. Yep. They with us, the protocol was uh, first buy two get two free, and then it became buy two get two free for $5. So it was basically four for $5, and then it got down to four or three for $1, and then it got down to a quarter a piece. And then when we just couldn't do anything for a quarter a piece, and we were down to the very end crap, that they were like, just destroy them, take them out back and break them with a hammer or something. I was like, I don't get paid to break tapes with hammers. I get paid to take them home. I put them in the trunk of my car. Yes, I'll take Pippi Longstocking. Thank you. Yeah, that's the same. They didn't want people digging through the trash. They used to do the same with us too, like with the magazines. They wanted us to tear the magazines up when we had to throw them out, like tear the covers off to show that we had them at one point for tax purposes for inventory, and then the rest you were supposed to tear up so people wouldn't want. That's so sad. We want to throw it away, but we don't want people digging through our trash and trying to get anything for free. So screw you guys. It's like corporate bastards. Brian Cox, the Brit actor who played Hannibal, was going to make the science so as their elected character. I think I think Brian Cox gives a lot of strength to Lecter. Hopkins almost feels half feeble, but he's all brains. Like he establishes early, he's smarter, twice as smart as anybody we're going to be dealing with. He's a supervillain. So no matter what his build looks like, he feels strong. Like he feels like he's always got the upper hand. As where Brian Cox, like he spends a lot of time like you feel like he's punched people to death before. Like he looks like shouldery. I don't know. He fills out the white t-shirt a little better. He looks like he could, strangle somebody with his hands. That's where this dude looks like he would poison you or whatever. Yeah, the Pippi Longstocking, I like those too. They used to be on HBO all the time when I was a kid, so I have a soft spot for them. Where's my other beer? Whenever that's the rule. When I fumble over my dumb words. Tonight's stream brought to you by Thanksgiving the movie and Michelob Ultra. See, and now here, she's explaining to him that, or dude says that, Lecter explains the killer is probably a transsexual, blah, blah, blah. That's, same trans term we use now. And she explains to him that, psychologically speaking, there's no correlation between violence and transsexuals. So they're hitting you with the message that they would tell you now, heavy handed and stupid in some woke movie, but they give you the same message here, but they mix it in as part of the story and it feels natural. And you learn as you watch without even really thinking about it, instead of having some big scene where they go out and arrest the trans community and shake them down and everybody has a big talk about the unfair unjustness or whatever. Like, give it a break. But then now Lecter switches from accusing the trans community of being killers to asking if her father or if her boyfriend sodomized her. So now he explains Bill isn't an actual transsexual. So yeah, all this stuff that would be timely in today's movie, and this movie catches a lot of flack because they think that Buffalo Bill is portrayed as anti-trans and all that, the Jeffrey Levine character, and they say like this did such a bad thing for the trans community and all that. It's like, I mean, the point of the killer is to show his coveting of women, and he's clearly not sane, you know. But we see that Chilton's got the room bugged because he's not getting cut out of this information loop. guy get arrested for trying to steal a UFC tape he rented. They're like 100 charged with the felony. Wow. Yeah, a lot of those old school tapes, like the classics from the especially like pre 92, like or anything before 1990 for sure, had a huge wholesale price tag on it. Like if you wanted to grab a retail copy of Beverly Hills Cop, and I think that probably would have hit you for about like 60 or 70 bucks if you bought it through the a non-previewed copy. The earlier tapes, my uncle was in this David Carradine movie called Cloud Dancer. Oh, hold on a second. It places the lotion in the basket. I want to see my mommy, please. I want to see my mother again. So she knows. Try to humanize yourself. Don't be a piece of meat to this crazy person. My father's mother, my grandma on his side, had a dog just like Precious, Tammy, little poodle like that. So whenever I see Precious, I'm like, oh, Tammy. Oh, yeah, this part scares the crap out of me where she's like screaming and crying, and then he's mocking and her screaming and crying. So it shows like he has no empathy or sympathy. He's just a crazy person who's enjoying getting off on making her feel bad. It's it's more terrifying to me. I don't know why. Like I don't know why the emotions of my captor makes me more afraid, but the stillness is, I think, the creepiness. Like Lecter is kind of a walking jump scare. Every time they show Lecter, he's just so still. He feels like sometimes when you see footage of like National Geographic, a lion or whatever, and they just are sitting there, and then you see like flies, or you see a bird come land on them, and you're like, oh no, this isn't gonna be good. Like that's how I feel when I say Lecter. Like even when he's not doing anything, he's just like waiting to do something. The first team my family was Ninja Turtles 3. Oh, that's right. I was saying, my uncle, when he lived in Arizona, he was dating this woman who was in a movie with David Carradine, and it's called Cloud Dancer. Nobody's seen it. Trust me, it's free on YouTube. I found it one time, um, but we we when it came out on cable and it was on like late, like on cable, we recorded it and had everybody come over and watch it, and then my mom loved that so much that she went to the video store and tried to buy a copy of Cloud Dancer, this movie nobody's ever heard of, and it was I think $125 for a David Carradine movie nobody'd ever heard of, and that's in 1983 money, so that would be like 300 or 400 bucks nowadays probably. So there was Roger Corman. I'm assuming he was like the head of the FBI or something. I know he's all throughout this, but I think that's what his main purpose is. Cloud Dancer noted. Yeah, it's he his girlfriend was in the movie as like an extra, not an extra, but like a day player or whatever. So he picked her up from work or whatever, and they saw him and said, "Hey, we need some guys to play henchmen for the bad guys." So whoever's trying, like David Carradine plays this guy who like is smuggling cocaine, I think, in Cessna planes or some shit. I think in stunt show airplanes. So we need henchmen for the bad guys. So, if you want to come in tomorrow, we'll put you in a suit. You and another dude will drive up, get out of a car, point, and then David Carradine will get in a car and drive away. Like, and that's him. You'll just see there's Uncle Ronnie with like a beard and glasses, just looking like, some coke dealer's henchman. But it's a cool story. That probably shaped my love of movies because that all happened when I was like 5 or 6 or something. So it was all a big deal. Like, wow, movies are fun. Yeah, yeah. Well, so they're blocked over here, but sitting under here, I have some crap sitting on. But I have a bunch of stuff I recorded off of VHS back in the day. They used to have like the AMC or Turner Classic Movies would show all the Hitchcock movies like on a marathon, usually during Thanksgiving weekend, and sometimes during Hitchcock's birthday. And I record like all the Hitchcock's movies. So I have like The Birds recorded off of VHS, like from 1989 or something, sitting over here just because it makes me smile every time I see it. Like that was when I first started to love film more than just liking movies. Yeah. Here's the iconic mask part where the governor or whatever comes and talks to Lecter, and they got him on a. It just makes him look so badass. He's being restrained to the gurney with the like whatever muzzle. It, it it adds such like once again, like I say, you feel at any moment this dude might just lose his shit and kill you. They obviously do a over the top stealing of this in Con Air. They do it with Buscemi, where they like have him on robot arms and stuff. Me and a friend in high school like this movie deal going on a ton of VCRs. My dad would find them. He would maintenance guy at apartment complex, bring them home. Owl found Cloud Dancer on YouTube remastered. Ooh, nice. Yeah, my mom ended up eventually giving it to my uncle because we never watched it. It was like a novelty, but it was like a I don't know, it was a $130 gag gift basically. But it's yeah, David Carradine has like he's like a coke smuggler or something. I vaguely remember the plot. I just remember Ronnie's in it for like a blink of an eye. The car pulls up, him and the other henchmen get out, they start shooting. He's the bearded guy. But yeah, just to a 5-year-old or whatever, that was like the coolest thing ever. You're in a movie? You're in the Talking Pictures? You're going to be famous, see? I don't know why I smoked cigars at 5. Um, so now they're at the courthouse. Everything at night. Everything freshly after a rain. The trees all dead or rustling in the wind. Just horror movie elements on top of horror movie elements. Oh man, it's taking off. Man, you are a delight. Thank you for coming here and hanging out. Look how happy everybody is. Good night, man. You are very much loved. Thank you for hanging out. You are awesome. But Megan had to leave now. She can't stand Chris Isaac. She's like, why is he in this? Such a strange cameo. This movie's got all these strange cameos. Like, why was Roger Corman in there? I mean, I know why, because this movie. My interpretation of this film is that they intentionally wanted to make this look like 70s grindhouse kind of like scary, like Clute or like I say, Black Christmas or whatever. Like it's supposed to have a look to it that the other movies in 1991 did not look like, you know. Echoes is explaining his complicated scheme to defraud video people. Remember the new guy, I believe was called for, he was strapped up like Hannibal when they dropped him off to his new school. Oh, was that Rising or whatever? Hold on. Once again, they sell Lecter almost like Jaws or something. They put him in this shark tank in this huge room. It's like it's a courthouse. You don't have an actual jail. It's like no, we need a supervillain jail. We construct a cage and then we put caution lines like road construction boards around it, sawhorses. Do not cross this line. Yeah, they got him in there like a friggin' baboon or something. Yeah, Russell Collier was talking about Hell Ride with Michael Madsen. God damn it, mouth. I've never seen that one. Tarantino, when you said he produced that one, I remember it being out. So here Lecter explains that he knows the island they were going to send him to as like he basically agreed to help them so he would get a better prison conditions. But the prison they're going to send him to is an island for people where they have anthrax, and he's going to be like, it's not what he wanted. So since he's being betrayed, he's extra pissed at Clarice and everybody. And this is where he's getting ready to snap and just bite everybody's face off. There's something about a killer that just loses his stuff and just goes and eats everybody's face off. Jesus, all right. But that mask that he had on earlier when the politicians came, and the famous iconic Lecter mask with the muzzle, whatever you want to call it, I think that helps make this part of a horror movie. Like, that mask is an iconic horror mask more than anything. Like, I think it's up there with Jason and the Scream face and all that. Like, yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any other thrillers that have a mask like that. Maybe the Purge has those masks, the crisscross light up ones that people wear now for Halloween. But yeah, usually once you get iconic masked, that's kind of a horror tip off too. I just settle on the idea that this is like Jaws and The Exorcist. It's horror, but it's so good. It's just elevated to cinema at this point. It's a film. I'll have to check and see if Hellride is playing on. Don's vocals are not working tonight. Is the audio okay? Okay. Stop because we won't. Oh, my mouth. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Pap. Stop because we won't make much money. Forgot how much we charge to cover the rental prices and the various VHS tapes. Yeah, a lot of people. When I worked at video stores, DVDs were the thing, and people would come in and rip the DVD and then sell the rips. You know. This is crazy directing. It made me stop what I was doing and watch. This is the whole scene where Lecter is getting in Clarice's head, and he's explaining to her about the lambs and the screaming, and he's like mocking her accent, and the screaming of the lambs, and did you stick your fumblings in the back seat of cars with boys in high school, and he's like just mocking her whole existence, like just tearing her down, even though he met her like 2 days ago. It's like, how the hell do you know so much about me, dude? So the camera is just staring into his eyes, and it's a slow zoom in on him as he says all this horrible stuff to her, and he's just getting like into her brain. And every time they cut to her, she's static. So he's moving in, they cut to her and she's static, and then him and he's even closer. So they're just using the camera trick almost as like a invasion of space. Like he's just all up in your brain. And that's why this is nominated for Best Picture and all that stuff. Like, did this win Best Picture? Russell's being attacked by Canadian geese. He's Hannibal. Yeah, yeah. Like all this, her makeup choices and stuff, they make her look young. She's got pink lipstick on, not red. She doesn't have eye makeup on. I mean, that's also Jodie Foster. She don't want to remember makeup, but the idea is to show her as not some like vixen who might be able to seduce Lecter. Like, no, she's vulnerable, even though she's super intelligent and she's like capable. That's why she has this job. But like just the choices they make, even him in the white. That's the Tarantino thing, though. Whenever you see anybody in all white, uh-oh, there's about to be some blood on stuff. Which is also a good callback to the Brian Cox Lecter in Manhunter. He frequently sits in the all white. Everything going to be all white. We still got Lady J here. We got Russell. We got Nate, Echo. I appreciate y'all being here, and I appreciate everybody watching. It's so nice of you guys to join me. I've been planning this for my as the like pen as like the ultimate in these movies I've been watching that are about serial killers and awful horror stuff that isn't quite horror. We're working our way up horror mountain, and this is like the peak before we go into goose and like ghosts and goblins and Draculas and vampires and stuff like all of that. Or I guess Draculas and vampires are the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The point is, so since this is the ultimate, I thought I would do this maybe like right before October, but then the full moon is on Friday and Saturday, and October is Sunday. So Friday and Saturday, I'm probably gonna do some werewolf movies, and Thursday night late, probably 11:30, my buddy Larry, Horror Cat Dad, is gonna drop by, and we're gonna do The Fog. So we're gonna have some build up to horror Halloween here, like and this was kind of the last available day really before once again all the dudes lurking at Jodie Foster. Even Jodie Foster can't get a break from these horny dudes. Give it a rest. Yeah, Pap says werewolf movies are terrifying. Yeah, I love a good werewolf movie. I can't find American Werewolf in London playing anywhere, but I found Bad Moon and The Wolf Man, the old Lon Chaney, and I found Ginger Snaps, and damn it, what's the other good one I thought? Oh, Silver Bullet. So I found a bunch of good. The question of whether or not there's actually ever been an awesome werewolf movie is a question worth having, um, but yeah, in general, I thought maybe Friday and Saturday we'd take advantage of the full moon and watch those, and that's an awesome lead into October for Halloween movies. This October is like the perfect Halloween because, like I say, Friday and Saturday is the full moon. Sunday is Halloween or is October 1st. Then the 13th is Friday the 13th. And then there's another full moon, I believe, on the 30th or the 31st or whatever for Halloween. So it's like the most spooky Halloween conditions possible this year. And by me, it's supposed to be abnormally warm. Actually, the whole north is supposed to be abnormally warm going into the winter. So that means less snow, more fog and steam. So, yeah, I just kind of feel like conditions are right for mayhem, yo. Did you try the Look Movie 2 site? I've I've been there before. My guy Sean Blue Digital uses it a lot. Um, I'm gonna some of those sites when you go to them, they look sketchy and like but I have good virus protection. But the Look site I've been to several times. Also, whatever I watched, the last Steven Seagal movie I watched with Gareth was on some sketchy site. And I found some new one, OK Russia, OK.ru. And that's where I found Something Wicked This Way Comes. So I might have to watch that early before it gets pulled down by the FBI or something. Full moon for werewolves is a myth. I think werewolves in general are a myth. I'm pretty sure. Although there's supposedly one around me, by me. So here Lecter tricks the cops and attacks them and just starts biting faces off. Like I use this expression sometimes, like I'm just gonna go full, like I'm just gonna start biting faces off. Because that's just the worst. Nobody's more crazy than someone just eating faces. Like, okay, you're at rock bottom as far as sanity goes. It's like just chewing on noses. And now he's just beating the living hell out of him with his own billy club, and he's kind of smiling, and just the blood is getting all over his shirt. But once again, I point out the desaturated colors. And we see the blood splash all over the pretty dinner. And that's just, yeah, that's great camera work. They slowly work their way along the room, and we just see blood and splatter and disgusting grossness, and the dead cop is laying there, and then they drag the camera along to Lecter's hand, and you see him like going along with his opera music because he's calm. Like they said earlier, his pulse never went above 85 while he ate that lady's face off, which tells you the psychology of what it would take to be this type of terrible villain in the world. It's like, oh yeah, just go around killing the other people. Don't even break a sweat sometimes. This whole scene, I just keep getting bombarded with iconic scenes from this movie. Like, there's the old Howard Hawks adage, like, what's a good movie? Three great scenes, no bad ones. And this movie is just like 10 great scenes. Like, it just, every time I keep looking up, like, oh, here's Lecter in the mask. Oh, here's where he eats the dude's face off. Oh, here's multiple MIGs. These are all things that could be on t-shirts, I tell you. Werewolf Kids is true. Russell believes in werewolves. I've seen the furry people before. People with that, what do you call it? That disease where they start growing hair early on in life and they look like little dog people or whatever. Yeah, this stuff right here with the cops and the elevator and anything that feels like police procedural, like the cops, like it doesn't feel like the cops belong in horror movies. I think that's one of the things that pulls it the other way, is all this police activity. And although this damn scene where they got this body splayed up, like crucified in the jail, and there's the light coming from behind it, it looks almost like an angel, and the ribs are, it looks like their Nirvana In Utero CD, or the album cover, I should say. And it's Charles Dance or whatever. Do you know how much work it would take for Lecter to string up a body like that and like do all that fancy ribbons across the ceiling and all that? There's no way. Yeah, Sean Blue Digital turns you on to Look movie. Yeah, Sean's been using it for a long time. It's never give him any problems. So yeah, sometimes those unconventional sites, they have, like, I don't know, if you're looking for something rare, I don't begrudge it. I have alternate copies of discs all the time. It's like, well, something's out of print, so I need an alternate copy. Let's see. Usually I have an alternate copy close. It's a long time. Huh, look at me being all legit. Oh yeah, here you go. Here's Wisconsin Death Trip. It's this crazy ass documentary that was on Cinemax for a while, and there's a DVD of it, but it was a limited print run. So that one I had to borrow somebody else's DVD of it and make a burn of it. So I don't begrudge people whatever they do, as long as their computers don't get in trouble, or as long as they can watch a movie. People need to be happy. Folks are enjoying their art. So there's Chris Isaac. Like I say, weird ass cameo. Weird ass cameo. Hey, I'm a country crooner Chris Isaac. I'd like to be in your movie. Sure. You want to be a SWAT guy? Sounds like a natural fit. Thank you. I don't know why he's Elvis all of a sudden. But in this, in hindsight, I feel like a jackass. But the first time I saw this in the theater, where they find the cop on the ground with the ripped up face, and they put him on the stretcher, and they put him in the ambulance, and they quick rush him to the hospital, and there's like this big like excitement that goes on. This is in a bunch of horror movies. This happens to Jason and Michael several times. Yet I fell for it the first time I saw this in 1991. Like, oh shit, I got. Jack Nicholson. There's another called Howl, about a werewolf on a British train. I haven't seen Howl. I want to see that one. Is that the Jason Momoa one? I need to kind of watch that one first before I watch it. Bad Moon is all right. I agree with you. You had another one on there that I missed that was really good. Oh, The Howling. Yeah, The Howling is the classic. Howling and American Werewolf in London, I think, are kind of the two tops. Um, the original Lon Chaney Wolfman is good, but modern audio, it's short. It's like an hour and 5 minutes or something. Um, and it's black and white, so it doesn't feel like a traditional modern movie to most people. But it's the Del Toro remake of it was all right. I know a lot of people didn't like it because it was boring. I thought it was an interesting homage. Howl is on YouTube. Howl's one of those that's around everywhere. Like it's on Tubi, YouTube, Freevee. Like it must, whoever owns the right to that must just will take anything. $5? Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah, all this is just very entrancing. The whole like cops trying to figure out the murderer in the elevator, and they've got us all in this big red herring suspense scene where it's like, oh, we've got him. Oh, we've got him. Meanwhile, he's in the ambulance being driven away. The howling, yeah, the transformation scene. I love D. Wallace. Um, the werewolves in Trick or Treat are good. Trick or Treat's in flux. I'm interested to see what happens with it. It's uh where was it? It was on some website, but it's leaving in like a day. Oh, it's on AMC Plus or something. But it leaves in 6 days. Trick or Treat does. So I have a feeling it's going to end up on Max. It's a Warner Brothers movie, or it was distributed by Warner Brothers. But the idea that Trick or Treat wouldn't be streaming anywhere during Christmas or during Halloween just seems unconscionable to me. I like that they gave her a friend. Like she needs someone to talk to, and she's always like feeling like an outsider, and everybody's always like lurking at her and stuff. So it's nice that she has like a friend. It's like Punky Brewster or whatever. Echo's doing karaoke. What songs you singing, Echo? So now we see Buffalo Bill doing the sewing of skin. This is the first time I've really looked at this in HD like that. You can see the actual like skin he's using looks leathery, like there's pores in it and stuff. That's good special effects. Gross. Now it's dark. Hell yeah. Jim here hanging out. So Lecter's escaped. So there's 31 minutes left. So this is the start of the third act. We're getting ready to start the third act because this is a 2 hour movie. So that means the first act is going to be almost a half hour. And as I pointed out, right at the half hour mark is where we meet Buffalo Bill for the first time. Like he's just someone we talk about. So we see him at the 30-minute mark. So that means at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark is where the third act will start. Um, and that's where basically Clarice goes into the whole just focusing on Buffalo Bill because Lecter's now technically taken off the chessboard. He's escaped. So here's Clarice in Pennsylvania driving across bridges and stuff. Or is she in West Virginia? Yeah, all these cars and stuff are all dated. Like they're all like 10 years earlier than the 90s. Like all the vehicles are from the early 80s. Weird. Is this a period piece and I never noticed it? Because the clothes, too, the clothes are very they can fall in any time period. Like if you told me this, if you made this movie black and white and showed me all the characters, the clothes wouldn't jump out. Like there's no big shoulder pads and no one's got like crazy bangs or whatever. Like everybody just looks sort of generic. Once again, another scene, broad daylight, yet somehow bombarded with shadows and dark, and it just feels like the fall. Like this whole movie just feels like it's depressing. It weighs on you. The tone of the movie feels like a sad song is just playing. I like my 90s with an 80s hangover, right? And now here we meet the father, one of the victims. This guy I always think about. This is a very honest portrayal. Like it's a character that means nothing to the movie, but he's here just to point out, like, hey, these are real human beings. And when folks die, other people's lives are affected by it. Like, look how sad this guy is. And he's only on screen for a minute, but you're just like, yeah, his daughter's dead. Of course, he's bummed out. And it just helps ground thing. There's this. Did I just see? I don't want to rewind it. The picture of this one girl, she has like one picture of herself and she just puts it up over and over again. All this feels like Insomnia with Robin Williams, the Christopher Nolan film, where like the detective has to go learn about the girl who died and he's in her bedroom and he's just kind of like getting into her life. Same thing here. This kind of police procedural forensic analysis of the room or whatever. Oh, there's a new outlaw biker coming out about biker riders based on the Chicago Outlaws in '65 with Tom Hardy. Interesting. Jim likes his girl's roomie. Yeah. That's an interesting, like, just bit of business to throw into the writing. That helps make it. You can tell that's something that's from a novel. Like, well, the killer needs his victims to be a little bit thicker, a little more, a little soft. So that way, when he starves them, the skin gets loose and it's easier to make, cut up leather. Like, they don't get into that detail in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies and stuff. Put body on hook, start chainsaw. That's all we need to know. Yeah, Al Pacino, Insomnia. Yeah, it's a remake of, oh God, I don't know, a Dutch film or something. But I don't know if I ever saw the Dutch one or the original. We'll say it's Scandinavian, sure. Um, but yeah, the Nolan remake I remember liking. I'm guilty of liking all them bad remakes. Like I like the American remake of The Vanishing just as much, or if not more, than the original Dutch version, which is like blasphemy because the Dutch version has a better ending. But yeah, even here she's got like a gaudy ass like lame jacket. This all just looks like 1982 or 1983, and it huh. You've never given any thought to whether this is supposed to be set earlier than it is. And this is one of the best misdirects. They do this all the time in movies now. Ever since, I'm sure other movies did it before this, but the whole like, we know where the killer is. We're going to get him. We're about to knock on his door. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just do some mindless groundwork and go knock on some other doors. Like, uh-oh. The addressee was a James Gum. All this, it literally, I've seen this movie 50 times, maybe. Like between TV and cable, and I own the VHS, I own the DVD, I have it on streaming. I've seen this movie so many damn times. Like I recognize all of it every time it happens. I don't think I still totally understand the whole convoluted James Gunn, Mr. Moffat, like just all the weird anagram name mystery thing. It's like suddenly the Da Vinci Code. It's like, how the hell did y'all keep track of this? I need one of those boards with red string that helps me keep track of all of it. I need Buffalo Bill's house. I would use it for good. I want like a 4-story basement with a well and all that. Like, I'll develop a whole culture, a society. When the zombie apocalypse comes, I'll take people in. We'll build a whole new culture. It'd be great. No, what's he want to do? Torture women. Think bigger, Buffalo Bill. Use your crazy multi-layer subterranean lair for good, not evil. Because it is. He has like a basement, and then there's another like sub basement that he opens up and you go down to. So they're literally like 20 feet under the ground and then a well. So that well got to be 30, 40, 50 feet underground. Like, what? I'm really stressed out by the complexities of the architecture of Buffalo Bill's home. Here's Goodbye Horses. Yeah, I didn't have any outfits to wear for this one. No special cosplay. So I'm going to have to do Goodbye Horses in a minute and tuck for a minute. Okay. So put your kids to bed. Goodbye horses. Echo would fill his murder well with popcorn. That's good. Or even just those balls, like a ball pit, the world's deepest ball pit. Or turn it into a haunted house at Halloween and make your money back on your rent all year long by your weird subterranean basement that has an actual ring well in it. Odd fuck me. Odd fuck me. I don't think you could catch Precious with a bucket like that. Cover your eyes first. Hold on, I go, goodbye, horses. Iconic scene number 15 we're on now. Like if you tell somebody, remember the tuck scene in Silence of the Lambs? Everybody's like, yep. Scarred me for life. Mannequins. Mannequins are scary. I don't know. Because that's in like Tourist Trap and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. Loose mannequins are just, they add to the horror of a film. Our minced pies are getting tired. So here, Starling is interviewing the people in the town, just trying to get like back work. Which is funny that they told her it's like, no, we know where he is. We're on our way to get him, and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of keep doing what I was doing. Screw you guys. Screw you guys. I'm doing detective work. Good, good. I got bumped off for a second. I've seen it. Calumet City, Illinois. I've been there. There's like a county Calumet, like the city itself, I think is. Do you know anybody who has like a moth hobby? Never known a moth person. Like, oh yeah, I got all these moths. Oh, it's a special moth from Brazil. I'd be like, you don't do stamps or baseball cards, nothing? No. Yeah, never. I wouldn't hang out with a moth friend. Dude, my sweaters all have holes in them. You son of a bitch. So now the hostage has Precious, and she's gonna snap his neck or Precious's neck if she doesn't agree to get put out of there. But she won't. That's one of the nice touches I love at the end of this movie is after they free her, you see her holding Precious like that's like her comfort animal. Like they you can almost imagine that after this movie is over, her and Precious, like that's her new dog. Same Maniac in the remake. And then there's a weird like uh Buffalo Bill has a Nazi bedspread. Like they just kind of threw that in as like, oh, by the way, here's a weird thing to think about. Like, who's like, you know what? I like to go to sleep, but I need swastikas on the blanket to help me sleep better. Like I don't feel Nazi enough while I'm resting. Like that's some coward Nazi shit. Like I don't want anybody to see I'm a Nazi. I'll do it in the dark. Here's another iconic scene. This one I apologize for because it's so tacky and gross, but it just makes me laugh every damn time. Do you know a Miss Frederica Bimmel? He says, wait a minute. Was she a great big fat person? It's such a mean asshole thing to say. Well, I'm investigating the death of Frederica Bimmel. There's no one here. And your name is, Jack Gordon. Mr. Gordon. Mm-hmm. Well, Frika used to work for Mr. Lippman. Do you know her? No. Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person? Yes, she was a big girl, sir. Mm-hmm. Like, I read about her in the newspaper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's normalize great big fat people. Well, that's the messed up part is she's not like not particularly heavy. She's kind of like 1950s like pinup busty. Like she's a bit thick, but she's not like the pictures you see of her. They show her they find Polaroids of that one girl and like I mean she's not thin, but she's not a great big fat person. Like you know. Mm. The telly series normalized great variable. There was Russell Tyler Starling after this movie. It used to be a couple of years ago. There was a Starling show? I didn't know that. I think I did know that. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Why would a dude who likes to sew be into moths? Like, seems like all his work would get destroyed. So she's looking around his house while he's looking for the business card, and she sees like all these spools of thread. So she knows dude's into seam work or seamstressness or seaming. Whatever. He's seemingly a serial killer. Once again, shadows, lots of congested areas, no real room to move, just horror movie everything. Horror on top of horror on top of horror. His house is nasty. I always remember his house is unkempt, but now in HD I can see like into other rooms and stuff. He's just this place. You need to hire a maid, bro. The symbolism of the rebirth from the cocoon into the beautiful moth butterfly. Yeah, I mean I know like his logic and or from the Thomas Harris novel or whatever but yeah, that's a funny like juxtaposition though the moth and the cloth. But now we're on level 1 of his basement, and there's one door, two doors, and a real tall ceiling. So now there's a window in his basement, and then there's a map so we can see where he's been everywhere where the story's been taking place. She busts open the door, does the ugh. Yeah, so there's the almost completed woman suit. HD was a much better a lot of grossness going on there. Very Texas Chainsaw. So then she goes into another room and she finds the well room. Yeah, this is just a whole subterranean nightmare down here. I love this part too that when she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna come back and get you." She's like, "Don't you leave me, you bitch." That's real. That's writing. Nate, you and Lady J know each other in real life? That's cool. Don't you leave me here, you fucking bitch. Yeah, I don't really understand why he has a porch in his second sub basement, but I'm nitpicking semantics. Not... Wow, now he's got his own like what do you call it? Autopsy room. Medical examiner's room, I guess you would call it. Like he's got one of those steel gurneys that you can like drain fluids out of and stuff. Once again, the windows. I don't think you put windows in basements. Oh, ugh. Yeah, there's the part I was waiting for. Everything else was in good clarity, so I wanted to see the decaying body in the bathtub that he had. How did she not smell that? Like it seems like she would have smelled that a long time ago. Now the lights are out, and he's got the black or the night vision goggles on. I think this is probably the first time I really thought about night vision goggles being used by anybody other than the military. Yeah, I got to keep Michael Madsen over my shoulder, man. Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Are you gonna bite? That was my limited fake Michael Madsen. Oh, Lady J. Well, I thank you on behalf of Nate. Like, I think that's awesome. You helped him. That's cool. It was the bathtub body. It was his mom. Ah, so it was like a what do you call it? A Psycho situation. Can't believe I forgot Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. So he creeps up on her with the night vision. She hears the click of the gun and turns around and just blasts open fires and puts 6 right in his chest. And somehow he's still awake. Okay, now he's dead. Or so you would think. She shot him 6 times. I shot 6 times. I just imagine that's Donald Pleasance everywhere. I should say Dr. Loomis, just everywhere going around in life. But I shot him 6 times. Sir, this is a Wendy's. And then they show the Chinese lantern spinning dealie with the moth on it to show that whole death rebirth thing. You know, the Red Dragon thing had that whole thing too. They like to give the serial killers some sort of like deep mission. I don't know, kind of a Son of Sam thing. Like he has more going on than just being a nut. You know, Ted Bundy and Dahmer, they were just pretty much nuts. Nobody was like, oh, let's hear their ideology. And here's Clarice getting her official FBI badge. Look at you, girl. You go, girl. Feminist empowerment. Girls get it done. Terrence, welcome. Nice to see you. We're just getting ready to wrap it up there, Terrence. Buffalo Bill's been captured. Clarice is getting her FBI cake. And Clarice is going to get a phone call. I'm having an old friend for dinner. So there's a lazy eye professor guy. These nerds are trying to get laid at the FBI building. Good for you. $8.50 there. It's 2:51 here. Yeah. AM, obviously. Night Owl Movie Talk. I don't be sleeping. Yeah, this movie, that's why I kept kind of pointing out the horror tropes as they went along, or like the horror elements that it built upon, because it knew to keep it like a realistic crime drama, you know, police procedural, whatever, like make it feel like it's grounded in reality, but then just like pour on the horror tropes, like the desaturated colors and the um you know, just the eerie tone of it. There's no jump scares in this. I mean, there are with Buffalo Bill at the end and stuff, but there's no cat just jumps out because we needed something to happen. It just slowly builds and creeps on you. And so here's Chilton. I'm surprised Chilton isn't in like every horror movie. He's like a good creep. He feels like he should be the bad guy when you can't get damn it, what's that guy's name? The dude from Jeepers Creepers 2, Ray Wise. When you can't get Ray Wise, you get this dude who played Chilton. So then it ends. This is a crazy ass ending right here. Buffalo Bill's been captured and killed. That mystery is taken care of. Lecter has escaped. He's in Dominican Republic or wherever the hell this is, Puerto Rico somewhere. And we see that Chilton's there too. And as an audience, it's an uplifting moment because we know that the evil villain is going to go murder that guy. We're like, yeah, happy ending. Like, oh, friendly psychopath, brooding psychopath, Miggs. Awesome. Boxing instructor. Not finding your channel, dude. Jim loves Ray Wise. Yeah, Ray Wise is awesome. Yeah, SWAT commander was Chris Isaac. How'd you get to be commander? I don't even know how you got to be in this. And you got to be EMS driver was Buzz Killman. That is most certainly a stage name. Hi, I'm Buzz Killman. Oh, I loved you in Toy Story. And they're still on this long shot of the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, I think they said, but basically we're off the mainland U.S. and the Lecter has already followed Chilton there, but we're just hanging on this street, this still shot. It's a really cool way to show the credits. Now just mill about, run your little kiosks and whatnot. Well, anyways, that was Silence of the Lambs. I think it's the pinnacle of the non-horror movie, or the horror non-horror movie. Like, this is the one I think that everybody can have the debate over. I personally think it's horror, but it also doesn't feel like horror. I don't know. So yeah, it's a good right watch before building up to Halloween and all the horror that comes with it, these serial killers, and especially this nonsense. This is wild. Mr. Bones says, "The fuck, hey Bones, nice to see you, buddy." It's been amazing this week. The new upload. Found Pap's channel and just sub. Nate's the man. Yeah, I encourage all y'all to make friends with Nate. He's a good dude. I believe I know she's a new upload. Terrence. Oh, all right. Saturday. Psychobab. Promotion sales went nuts in 91. The fuck? Yeah. I'm surprised there wasn't a Silence of the Lambs branded lotion or some sort of woman suit, like a jacket that looks like the naked woman suit Buffalo Bill had, or like a t-shirt that hangs real low down like past your crotch and it looks like the tuck scene. All sorts of marketing opportunities for this movie. So, yeah, Terrence is here. Terrence's show Psychobabble is on Saturday, I believe. Terrence in America. I don't know. I time zones be messing me up, but Terrence always has an awesome, lively crew on. They talk about everything under the sun. It's a great discussion show. So yeah, be sure to check out Terrence's channel. Lady J Ghoul, you're awesome. Thank you for coming by. You're a fun person to have around here. Mr. Bones, the fuck king. Being trapped in the basement by someone's area with a skin tuxedo is pretty horrific, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. This movie, I think, inspires more nightmares than your average horror movie. So that's why it just feels about as horrible as it can get. It's just, I think the police aspect of it is what makes people, and it's so highly decorated. But everybody thinks The Exorcist is horror, so I don't know. It's a weird quandary. But it's scary as hell to me. It's a perfect movie to watch this time of year. Creep me the hell out. I'm not helping anybody move a chair. Nate enjoyed this movie tonight. Thank you, Nate. I did too. It was nice hanging out with you guys. Like I say, sometime this week, Thursday, I believe, I'll be watching The Fog with Horror Cat Dad. Either I think midnight Eastern, 11 Central. I'll have to check and work that out with him. My Packers play Thursday night too, so we have to work after the football game. But we're gonna catch the fog, and then Friday and Saturday is the full moon. So I'm gonna try to catch some werewolf movies, and then October starts after that. So, also on Sunday, my friends Carrie Craves Cinema and Popping the Popcorn, Katie and Carrie, they both reached 1,000 subscribers this past week or within the past week. So they're going to have a celebration on, I believe, Katie's channel, perhaps. I don't know. Stay tuned. I'm sure I'll post about that. But I'm going to pop in for at least, they're going to watch a double feature of Breakfast Club and Valley Girl with Nicolas Cage, I believe. So I'm going to pop in and do at least one there on Sunday. So opportunities to catch me Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday. So much opportunities to catch me. I'm like a Pokemon. Just so much Don. I got this heavy chair, bro. Exactly. And my first thought was, oh, I'll be right over. Damn it. I got again. So Nate, I hope you feel better, buddy. Echo, we all love you. You know the deal with that. Everybody else. So thank you, Russell, Nate, Lady J, Terrence, that he popped in. He's awesome. Echo was here. Video Tasties was here. Carrie Crave Cinema popped in. I'm sure I'm thinking of some folks up front that I'm missing. So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys joining me for this one. You guys rule as per usual. The show is nothing without the folks in the chat. The watch along, watch party aspect is carried by you guys bringing the party. So I appreciate the hell out of you. No, Echo, we will not be watching the remake. We'll be watching the OG. Horror Cat Dad's a big fan. He's got a couple of cool actual action figures or collectible figures, NECA ones from the Fog. So he and I both bond over that. I over my shoulder I have an autographed copy of the Fog by Tom Atkins and John Carpenter. So yeah, the old Antonio Bay pirates trying to steal the Golden Cross. Adrian Barbeau in the as the DJ, all of that. Jamie Lee Curtis, once again. So, you have the Steelbook for it? Good choice on owning that steel one. So, take care, Lady J. I appreciate you. That was awesome. You came by and helped set it off. Thank you for telling people to hit the like button, Nate. You're awesome as well. I got good people. That's what I like. All right. So, thanks, everyone. Ben Grimm. I forgot Ben Grimm. He dropped in here too. All y'all. So, you guys rule. Thank you. Good night.